Spoon feed you. Spoon
feed you. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm here with a special guest today. So this is my friend Damilola.
Hello.
We've known each other since secondary school, since we were how old? Like
11,
and we've basically grown up together.
Yeah.
But after secondary school, we both went our different ways and done different paths. So I done the IB and she done A-levels. I ended up getting 40 out of 45 in the IB and she got A in A-levels, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of you guys that are going into higher education, so college, sixth form, it can be quite confusing knowing which one to decide, whether to do A-levels, whether to do IB, because I know I was quite stuck as well because I didn't really know which one to do because they're both really quite good.
Yeah.
And IB's recently got more popular in the UK as well. So we're just going to go through the differences between IB and A-levels, the things that are the same, our personal experiences, and how to decide which one's for you. So I hope you guys find this video useful. So what is the IB and what are A-levels? So I'll describe what the IB is and Dami will talk about A-levels. Right, so the IB basically stands for the International Baccalaureate. You have to do 6 subjects, which has to include a language, maths, a science, and a humanities subject. So it is quite full on. You also have to do something called theory of knowledge, which is kind of like philosophy. You have to write an extended essay, and you have to do something called CAS, which stands for Community Action Service, which is basically like lots of extracurricular activities. And you can get, it's out of 45. So each subject you get scored between 1 and 7. So 7 is the highest and obviously 1 is the lowest. Then you add it all up and you should get a score out of 45. But it's really hard to get a 45 out of 45. But yeah, anything above 34, 35 is really good.
So an A-level is more of a subject-based qualification. So rather than being restricted on what you can do, because Yawande just explained, you have to do maths, you have to do English, you have to do science, and the rest of them. With A-levels, it's just subjects. So if you've enjoyed chemistry, for example, during your secondary school, you can then go on to A-level and choose chemistry. So it kind of allows you to be free, and it's more of a pre-university subject. So if you know you're going to go on to do university, I think that's what it is for IBs as well.
Yeah.
It's usually for pre-university students.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what A-levels, you know, and it's not really, there's no grade restriction. Well, depending on the college that you go to, then there's a certain level of grades you have to get to do certain subjects. But generally, you can do whatever you want, really. You can do whatever subjects you want.
So what are the things that are the same about IB and A-levels? Right, so firstly, they're both 2 years. So after you do secondary school, you have 2 years.
They both consist of coursework and exams, depending on the subject.
Mm-hmm.
So it's both components, and they both, I don't know about the IB, like with business A-level, for example, I think it's 100% coursework.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, IB you do get a lot of coursework as well, so they both have coursework included. You have to be 16 to 19 to do both. Yeah, I think those are mainly the things that are the same.
I mean, with A-level, I think you can do A-level at any time.
Oh yeah,
to be honest.
But just that's like the typical age.
The typical age range, yeah.
Yeah, and both qualifications are accepted by UK universities.
Yeah.
And I know IB's recognised internationally as well, but we'll get onto the differences. So, what are the differences between A-levels and IB? You can go first.
So with A-levels, like I kind of mentioned this earlier, it's a lot more autonomous. Like you can choose what subjects you want to. Like you're not restricted. You don't have to do a language if you don't want to. Whereas with IB, you have to do a language, and there isn't levels to it. A-level is pretty much the same. It's either it's hard for you or it's easy. Whereas with IB, I feel like you either do higher and there's standard, isn't it? Yeah. Like with A-level, it's just everybody sort of is on the same level, and What else is different? I would say...
I think the good thing about IB that's different is the fact that that's the reason why I was more drawn to it, is that it's internationally recognised. So that's why it's called the International Baccalaureate. So you can like...
But that's only if you're trying to go...
That's because I thought I wanted to go to UCLA,
Exactly.
I wanted to go to
So
America.
don't be fooled, because more times you're going to end up staying in the UK.
Yeah, but if you wanted to go internationally, then yeah, you could do the IB. Yeah, I feel like the main difference is the amount of subjects you have to do, basically. So
and also with A levels, I think now it's different. But 5 years ago, when I was doing mine, the minimum you could do is 3, and the maximum is 4. But then with the college that I went to, I was given an extra A level, which is critical thinking. But it's usually between 3 to 4 subjects in your first year, and in your second year, because of how hard it is and how much students have to juggle, you have to drop 1 subject. So in second year, you end up doing 3 subjects. You can't do any less than that. It has to be 3 or more. But the recommended is 3. So that's the difference. I think with the IB, you have more subjects, right?
yeah. So what are our experiences and what are the positives and negatives of IB versus A levels? Okay, so with IB, I definitely say that one of the positives is that it definitely makes you a well-rounded person. So you're required to do 6 subjects, right? And I wasn't great at maths, for example, but I had to do maths. I chose it as a standard, not a higher, but it does push you to like do better at subjects that you might not like as much. It also prepares you well for university because you're used to such a high workload. Like you have 6 subjects to deal with. When you get to university, you're only doing 1 degree, so it does like prepare you well for uni. And if you're someone that doesn't really know what you want to do, because you've got so many subjects that you've taken on, you're pretty much, well, depending on what you've picked for your highers, you're pretty much set up to just choose a range of things at university. Because I feel like A levels, because you can only pick 3 or 4 subjects, it does kind of like restrict you to take that path. Whereas with IB, you're more open to doing other things. Whereas the negatives, along with the high workload, it does like burn you out a bit because you've got so much to do. I remember when I was doing IB, it's just like you do have a life, but you kind of don't because you've got all that work to do. But I feel like the positive did outweigh the negatives when I look back at it, because at the end of the day, it made me like a well-rounded person. And even though IB was probably one of the most stressful periods of my life, you do enjoy it, to be honest. Yeah. A levels.
Yeah, for me, one of the positives for A levels for me is the fact that I'm not really like Yolande in the sense where I want to explore things that I don't like. I left maths exactly where I should have left it, which was at GCSE level, and alongside like languages and things like that. I think with A level, if you specifically know what you enjoy and what you like, I would highly recommend A levels, because I knew in secondary school I loved sociology, I loved RS, even though obviously the only downside is you don't really get to experience the things you go on to choose in A levels in secondary school. So it's like a new world, new experience. So for example, psychology, which I ended up doing for my degree anyway, I didn't really know about the subject. I think I just took a leap of faith and a lot of research. So I realised, okay, this is a subject for me, but beforehand I didn't know about psychology, so yeah. I kind of just did it. So it was really good for me because it allowed me to focus on the things that I liked, which is why I excelled. You know, getting A isn't something that, you know, a lot of people get in A levels, because it's a jump from GCSE to, you know, to A level. Nobody really prepares you for your A levels. You know, it's a lot more rigid and it's a lot more independent work. So it's not with GCSE. I found that our teachers kind of fed us all the information and stuff, but with A levels, to get the top grades, you've got to go out of your way to kind of learn more stuff.
That's similar to IB as well, to be honest, because it's like, I feel like anything after secondary school, you kind of like take matters into your own hand. Like no one's gonna
spoon feed you.
Spoon feed you.
No, but then I feel like your IB like it forces you to do something you don't like. If you get what I mean. I feel like with you would, because I chose subjects that I really liked, it was normal
I guess
for me
it depends.
to go on and actually do the extra research, extra reading. Whereas with IB, I doubt I will be going extra to do, like, what's my business with languages and what's my business with maths? English I can tolerate. And what else did you do? English, maths, science, like I enjoy.
But it allows you to, like, you can pick it as a higher or a standard.
But
so
either way,
if you really,
doing it,
you're still doing it, and that's when I go back to it. You're doing it if you want to be a well-rounded person, because you're still doing it, but you're not doing it as much in depth. Because I picked for my highers chemistry, biology and psychology, because those are the three that I really had an interest in, and I wanted to do dentistry, so you have to kind of do chemistry and biology to do dentistry. And then for my standards, I picked obviously maths, German, and I've done English, literature and performance. So like, I didn't really mind it, to be honest, because even though I wasn't crazy about my standard subjects, it was kind of like, oh, it was something new. Like, obviously chemistry and biology can be quite intensive. Then say like I'll go to English, literature and performance, and it'll kind of be like, oh yeah, it's something completely different now. Like I can have a break from that.
No, I'm not that type of person. I think I'm the type of person who likes to, and you know, there are negative and positive to it. I mean, I guess it's nice to be a well-rounded person because it helps you wherever you go, to be honest. But I've always been kind of like subject specific. Like, this is what I like and this is what I will focus on. And you know, I don't really feel like it's hindered me in any way, because when I got to university, you know, again, I chose something that I liked. So naturally, I did everything I could to understand every single aspect of it. But I think my personality, I haven't been always the person that wants to try new things. She's more of a person, let's do this, let's do that. I'm just like, girl, what are you doing? Like, why must we do it? Like, why can't we just stick to what we know? And it's not always good. Like, I like to stick to what I know, and I did A-levels knowing that, okay, this is exactly what I'm going to do. If I fail, I fail, but I did what I wanted to do, and you know, it done me.
And to be fair, talking about failure, they both give you a chance to like retake if things do go wrong. Because the first time I done my IB, I got 38, so I was 2 points off what I needed to get into dentistry. That's a whole nother video in itself. If you want to find out more about my pathway into dentistry, check out my other videos where I explain more. But basically, I had to do it again, and I ended up getting the points to get to 40. So it was quite difficult, like having to go back and retake, because like it does take a knock on your pride. But I learned a lot from that anyway, and yeah, I'm happy that I did go through that, because it sort of like built me into a more like resilient person once you've gone through failure. So even if you do like fail a subject in IB or A-levels, it's really not the end of the world.
It's not. And you know, I can relate to that as well, because when I did my first set of exams in first year, I didn't like my grades. I think I got like C's, and obviously that's okay for some people, and I'm not trying to say getting a C is a bad thing. I just think for my standard, I didn't really like it, so I had to retake a lot of my exams again in second year, so just so it can all add up and I can get a higher grade. So failure is part of the process, so don't beat yourself up. Just you know, I think I've seen a lot of people, and this is why A-levels for me is good for someone like me, and I recommend it only because if you go into A-levels not knowing what you want to do, it kind of allows you to explore new things, whereas with IB,
I disagree with that. I feel
like, hold on, let me finish. No, but like with IB, you're going in there doing things that.
But you're doing a range of things, so it keeps your options open.
Yeah, but
whereas A-levels,
if you know, like for example, dentistry or medicine, you know you need sciences. Why are you doing English, and why are you focusing on that?
But then people might not know. Like I didn't definitely know I wanted to do dentistry 100%. Like that's why I was like, no, let me just do IB just in case. Like, I go into something else. Like,
so that means you weren't sure.
I wasn't sure. That's what I'm saying. The people that are not sure, IB is a better option.
I think where I was going with my point was, if you know what you want to do, well, the good thing is if you know what you want to do, I would say A-level, because it saves you from doing other things that aren't really relevant. Because even with dentistry, like if you do A-levels, like you knew exactly what subjects you needed to do, so that's the sciences and probably one random subject, right? So you have to do chemistry, biology,
and then you can pick something else.
You know, do you see what I mean? So it's straightforward in that sense, but I do get what she means, because it allows you to explore different things, and that's if you are someone who's good at things generally. If you looked at your GCSE grades and you can see that you got B and above in across all your subjects, then yeah, and you know it's difficult because you just because you did really well in your GCSEs doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate in your in your IB. Because I got A in chemistry in secondary school in GCSEs, but when I did it for A levels, I did terribly. I didn't do well. You know, I had to drop it. You know, and that's the risk, I guess, of going straight to a subject thinking you know exactly what you like and what you don't like. Sometimes you realise, you know what, maybe this subject isn't really for me, you know, and
So how do you decide which one is for you? So I feel like we've covered a lot of the points already, but I feel like you just really need to just look at your own personality and just decide, okay, am I more of a well-rounded person that I just want to try out different subjects and or do I definitely know what I want to do already, and I'm just going to pick the 3 subjects that I'm happy with and go for that. So it depends on what kind of person you are, how much workload you can take on, because IB is a lot of work. Like, you have a lot of things that you need to juggle at the same time.
And your skill sets as well. I think that's also very important, because I kind of knew I was really good at essays. So, and I have I'm very analytical in how I think, I'm critical in things. So it made sense for me to go into subjects that will allow me, that will kind of encourage that sort of thinking. So I knew with philosophy, you had to critically analyse things. With sociology, you had to critically analyse different point of view, and similarly in psychology as well, you do the same. So I think if you know exactly your strength, because there is no point of going forward. There's a wide variety. There's like law, there's health and social care, there's business, there's international business. There's so many different subjects that it's important for you to go and research it first.
Definitely.
Before you dive into it, because you're gonna get a shock. Because when I did chemistry, that was a shock of my life, because I realised this isn't what the easy peasy stuff that I was learning in secondary school. It's completely different. You go further in depth into things. So I would say, when you're choosing those subjects, make sure you research it.
So thank you guys for watching this video. I really hope that you guys were able to learn some things, get some insight into the differences between IB and A level. So if you guys need any more help, feel free to email either me or Dami. I'll leave our information in the description box, and check out Dami's channel as well. What do you talk about on your channel? Let them know.
I just started, but I kind of talk about like personal experiences and things that I go through. Obviously, coming from a psychology background, I'm really interested in sort of sharing my experience and how I've sort of maneuvered through life. So a lot of exciting things.
Check that out. But that's it, guys. If you guys have any more ideas of videos you want us to make, just let me know.
Thank you for having me as well.
It's okay. Alright, bye!